go to my figure. Okay, so it looks like the two batteries are connected separately. I'm gonna start with B1, which is going to go to S6. So B1 is going to go to S6, which is interesting. And then R5 is going to go across here. So I'm not doing this in any particular order, obviously. And R5 was my, I should probably put this where you can see it, shouldn't I? All I've done so far is I've connected this one to this one. And then I'm going to put in R5. And I decided that my R5 is, what is my R5? My R5 is the 98, so the brown, black, brown. So I'm putting that right here. And then, and I'm just following the figure 3. And then I'm gonna go from S7 here all the way to B4. That's interesting because you're gonna hook up the ammeter in between these to measure a current. So actually, I'm not even gonna put a wire there. Where it says I1, I2, I3, I4, all of that, that's the ammeter itself. And so I'm gonna close the circuit with that. And so I can leave that off of my diagram. Where else do my resistors need to go? Let's see, R4 is gonna go right here. R4 was my brown, black, brown. That was my 100 one. Okay, that's R4. If I was smart, I would be marking these. By the way, I got these at HB for like $8, ultra fine tip dry erase. And then R3 looks like it's going from here to here. And that one is my yellow, blue, gold. Ooh, and hopefully it's long enough to fit. So we're gonna, one is gonna go like that, and this one's gonna go like that. Okay, I'm gonna bend my resistors a little. And I'm kind of hooking it in here so that it'll stick. Because I have a feeling that I'm gonna mess with it and it's gonna pop out, and then it'll take me 10 minutes to figure out what's wrong with my circuit. So this is me planning ahead. All right, so that's in contact. Let's make a note that that's R3. All right, and then R2 is gonna go here. Put the big mama there, R2. And then R1 goes here, and we're gonna have to connect all the pieces of my circuit. I'm just moving this out of the way, and that way it doesn't get in the way when I'm taking measurements. Okay, so then there's R1. I've got all my resistors in my circuit. Now I'm going to do the wires. And so I have a wire from here to here, and we have the resistor from here to here. And then there is gonna be a wire connected from here to here. We can go ahead and put one in there for a placeholder. But that's where we're gonna take one current reading. This is current reading number 1. And then I2 is from here to B3. I'll put a placeholder there. I'll put put another, you know what? I don't want the placeholders. Anywhere there's an I, that's where we're measuring current. Let's just make sure I have my wires where they need to be. R1, R2, R3, R5, I1, the little snarling you hear, that's Mr. Bear. Bear! Bear is the puppy. Come here, Bear. Say hi, Bear. Hi, Bear. Okay. I think he's got to go out. I'll be back. All right, so I have it all set up. I don't have the wires all connected because I don't really need it to be connected quite yet. I'm going to fix that as we go to do our readings. The first thing I need to do, though, y'all, sorry, please ignore the puppy. The first thing that I need to do, though, is I need to find the voltage across each battery. I know it's going to be about 1.5, and so let me just take my multimeter, and there's two little metal clips, and I'm just going to measure V1, which is 1.592, and mark that. And then V2, which is 1.594. All right, so I've marked V1 and V2. Then I am setting up the resistors in the right format, so I've already done that. We're good there. Now we want to calculate currents I1, I2, and I3. You're going to do that on your own by using the two of Kirchhoff's rules. If you have an issue calculating your currents, let me know, and I can show you how to do that. We're going to use the same notations as in figure 1 to keep it clear. Use the calculated currents to calculate the potential difference across each resistor. So a bunch of calculations using Ohm's law. Write down all your calculated currents and voltages in table 1. After you've done your calculations, you'll have an idea of what to expect, okay? So then we're going to measure our voltages across each of the resistors. So I'm going to need to hook this up to battery. I'm not going to use the switch because I don't want to deal with having to hold it down while I'm measuring resistors. So let me finish hooking up this circuit, which isn't fully explained to you in the procedure. All right, I've zoomed out a little bit. I need to go in a circle, right? So it looks like I've got... how many loops? I have loop 1 starts here, goes through R5, goes from R5 back to my battery over here. Okay. Then we're gonna go from this battery to J8. I'm gonna plug it in right here so it'll stay, because it's the same, right? They're connected. So we're gonna go from here back to J8, and I'm plugging it here so that it stays. That way it doesn't come unconnected. It's the same as putting it in this pole. Then from here, we're going back through R4, and then R4 is connected from here to resistor 2 by a wire. So let me get a wire, connect here to resistor 2. All right. And now we're at this point, going through resistor 2, through resistor 1, to this pole of the battery, and we should have a full circle. And so now our circuit's hooked up. There's no switch involved. It should be running circuit. It should be running electricity through it as we speak. So I should, at this point, wait, there is a problem. This resistor needs to be connected to this one. I need a tiny wire. Ooh, see, I almost got ahead. So I'm connecting this resistor to, where do I want to put this? I guess I can put it right here at this junction with all the other ones. So that should be good to go. Let me double check. Battery, R5, battery, battery, here, R4. There's one loop going to this junction, one loop going to this junction, so we have a complex circuit. Then back through R2. Oh no! R2 to R1, and from R1 to close my battery. All right, and notice I'm trying to keep all the ends not contacting each other. We don't want any short circuits. All right, cool. So that's the setup of my circuit. Let me take a picture of that, and then I will show you how to take the data.